We need to pray for our leaders so that they will make decisions out of wisdom and not fear. This is a critical time for Christians to operate in the Spirit. Yesterday, I actually heard an atheist say he had been on his knees praying for the first time in his life. Hey guys, State Representative Danny McCormick. I want to show you something that was brought to my attention. As of yesterday, the World Health Organization estimated COVID-19 was at 210,000 cases and 9,000 deaths globally. For 2017-2018, the CDC estimated 45 million cases of influenza and 61,000 influenza-related deaths just in America. When you put those local and global numbers side by side, it brings to mind a quote from Winston Churchill during World War II. The only thing we have to fear is fear itself. I'm not saying we shouldn't take COVID-19 seriously, as any loss of life is a tragedy, but we must keep things in perspective. What we must understand is we are just trying to slow down the spread of COVID-19 so a spike in patients doesn't overwhelm our hospitals. A large portion of our population may contract COVID-19 regardless of what we do. Testing in Louisiana is about to increase significantly. When that happens, the number of positive cases will increase just because of increased testing. When I ran for office, several people asked me, "What difference do you think you can make?" I told them, one thing is for sure, I will always tell you the truth. I'm here to tell you today, I believe that some measures put in place by our state will do more damage than the coronavirus itself. I would like to ask you a question. Do you think we can flatten the curve of the coronavirus without destroying most private sector jobs? I feel confident that the CDC guidelines don't take into account the loss of jobs when they make their recommendations. What we must understand as a state and nation is, if we seriously damage private sector jobs, we will drive this country into recession and possibly a depression. The problem we have developed as a Christian nation is this. We look to our leaders in government as our gods, and we put so much pressure on them to protect us that they overreact in times of turmoil. Like everyone else, I was rocked back on my heels when I first heard about COVID-19. But now, I think it's time for cooler heads to prevail. We must do our best to protect our most vulnerable citizens while we continue to stay employed as a nation and a state. So what should we do at this point? We need to pray for our leaders so that they will make decisions out of wisdom and not fear. This is a critical time for Christians to operate in the Spirit. Yesterday, I actually heard an atheist say he had been on his knees praying for the first time in his life. We've heard from the pulpit for years that the nation needs revival. This is our chance, church. What will we do? It's time to have a backbone and stand firm as a Christian nation. Let's organize our communities through churches to service non-emergency needs. The fields are white for harvest and the country is ripe for a revival. During times like this, the true American spirit becomes a guidepost for the rest of the world. We must remember that our parents and grandparents were members of the greatest generation. They were raised during the Great Depression, fought and won World War II, and built one of the strongest economies on the earth. It's now our turn to prove we can carry the torch as free people in the greatest nation on earth. Thank you, I love you, and may God bless America.